In the city of Kitakyushu, there is a global company that supports manufacturing industry across the globe. This is Yaskawa Electric Corporation. The company produces industrial robots that are an indispensable part of today's manufacturing and has a leading global market share in that space. The secret behind this intricate motion lies in a component of robot joints. That is servo motor. Yaskawa Electric has the largest share in the global servo motor market. Servo motor is a core component to enable high-speed and precise motion of robots. Let's take a look at a production line. Is that robot Yaskawa Electric's? Yes. The blue one over here is our product. Servo motors are mounted in joints of this robot. You use your own motor to produce motors. Yes. Servo motors and industrial robots are the core products of Yaskawa Electric. Their international business makes up 70% of the total revenue. The company's financial performance reflects global appetite for capital expenditure. In July, the company revised its full-year guidance upward. It announced that the revenue would be expected to grow by 18% year-on-year to 460 billion yen. This positive surprise was also covered by the international media. The company is led by Hiroshi Ogasawara, president of Yaskawa Electric. The economy is picking up well, and we are seeing increasing demand for our business. What is the outlook for the global economy? What is the company's growth strategy? We will hear from him in the studio.
We have our guest today at Market Real, Hiroshi Ogasawara, President of Yaskawa Electric Corporation. Thank you for coming early in the morning, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you. First, Mr. Ogasawara's biography. He joined the company as an engineer in 1979, was assigned to the head of the Technology Development Division. As a board member leading the company of our company's R&D, then in 2016 elected as the president. And first, let's look at the stock chart of Yaskawa Electric. Toyoshima-san, the stock price hovering around in the 100s for many years, and starting to surge around 2017 thanks to FA, or factory automation. In January 2018, it hit the highest since the listing, 6,120 yen. Currently, the stock price stays around 5,500. How do you see the current price? Well, when it comes to the stock price, is something that is beyond our control. So if you take a look at this chart, in 2016, it was around 1,600. And I was appointed as president in that year. And then we hoped that the price would go up to 2,500 and hopefully up to 4,000. It shot up. And we thought it would stay right there, but it came down and bouncing back these days. So looking at the current situation, the changes do exist. FA is robust. Therefore, we can't control the stock price. That said, we do like to do our best so that we don't lag behind, and that is my frank view. Now, if you take a look at the chart, it looks like it is overvalued. But do you believe, as the top management, there is still room to rise? Well, whether it is overvalued or not, it is something up to the market. But EVs, US-China trade friction, and as well as COVID-19, the world is changing, and we also have the changes in the world of semiconductors. When the world is changed, that means new investments. So, when there is a change, investments are robust. If that is going to be the case, there may be some overvaluation, but the future is bright. Therefore, my hope, to be frank with you, is the price go up a little further. So you would like to see the stock price go up further. So I think you are very quick in closing the books in order to create the market mood. Do you feel any pressure from the market? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do have that kind of pressure feeling. Well, we closed the books in February. Because of different factors, we decided to align financial reporting with the international standards, and we were thinking about to select either February or March, but because of the company's uniqueness, we decided it is least costly if we are going to select February. But when we tried it, there were a lot of people criticizing our situation. When the future is bright, it is okay. I can talk a lot, but because of, for example, the COVID-19 and U.S. and China frictions, I always try to find a broad spot to avoid any criticism from people in the FI industry. So I'm doing my best, but there's a lot of pressure at the same time. So we would like to move into a more detailed discussion. The theme is here: the outlook of the world economy and Yaskawa's Electric's growth strategy. I have picked up the following three topics. What is behind the surprise announcement on the upward revision of this year's financial forecast? Does China's economic recovery slow down? Yaskawa's ambitious technology strategy. The first quarter results announcement announced on July 9th, which is a positive surprise for the market. You are also talking about the pressure from the market. As you can see, you have also revised upward the full-year forecast. The amount of order, which is a leading indicator of the company's performance, increased by 47% for the period from March to May. This is the highest quarterly amount in history. What made all this possible? Well, every year, in February, there's the Chinese New Year's season, so there's going to be a global demand growth in March, April, and May, and then there's going to be some kind of a decline in the following months of June, July, and August. But the current situation is the demand is not declining. As I mentioned earlier, when we close in the books in February, we are forced to release the annual forecast for the full year. If I had released a forecast in March instead of February, it would have been more bullish, but that was not the case. In the second quarter, demand remains strong, so this is how we made an announcement in this way. I think the world and the industry is growing. Currently, stock prices in China remain relatively low. How do you see possible impact on the real economy in the period from June through July? Well, speaking of the Chinese calendars, July and June, I think there were some advance orders in place. But looking at the current situation, the economy is in solid growth. And actually, there is a situation of a shortage of materials. There are some advance orders, but in reality, the real economy is solid. There's no signs of decline. Understood. Mr. Ogasawara, you promoted digital transformation of the company, and now the company can grasp real-time the status of order taking and production status across the world. Which areas in particular are enjoying strong demand? I think globally speaking, the automotive industry is robust. Replacement demand and the COVID-19 related issues, some of the suspended capex has now recovered. And again, about the semiconductor industry, global demand. So automobile and semiconductor, they are the driving force. In terms of the region, is the center of growth China? There was the lockdown in China. There was still the manufacturing industry that was not much affected. I think manufacturing does exist in China. Most of it does exist in China. So China is the leading force. That is the same in the FA industry. And there was a talk about the lockdown in China. During that period, as far as our customers are concerned, they were producing manufacturing devices and parts for automobiles, but hundreds of them switched their production to mass production. So we supplied components for the mask manufacturing machines. So they all switched into mask production. In the lockdown, during this kind of a period of the low demand, there was a very strong demand for masks. But currently, how about the situation? In fact, they quickly come back into their own business after making quick money. During that period of lockdown, none of the manufacturing we did business with them are not in the mask business. They are so quick in making decision-making, quicker than Japan. So, how's the future outlook of the Chinese economy? How Yaskawa is going to survive the fierce battle in China?
City of Changzhou is about a 3-hour drive from Shanghai. This is where Yaskawa Electric's main factory in China is located. The site area is about 100,000 square meters. About 1,500 robots are being produced per month for various industrial factories, including smartphones and cars. Yaskawa Electric has its strategy to win in China. As we manufacture for the local market, we are aiming at 100% local procurement. Local procurement brings the cost down and shortens lead time as opposed to importing parts from overseas. In order to stay competitive in terms of pricing, the company sticks to the policy of local procurement. This is a warehouse that houses the finished products. 1,500 units are sitting here. It is only China where such a huge volume is managed all at once within the premise of the factory. There is a reason behind this. In Chinese robot market, customers expect extremely short delivery time. Some are looking for 1-week delivery for not just a few units, but for dozens. In Japan, the lead time from order receipt to shipment is 1 to 2 months. But in China, products will be shipped within a week for 15% of the time. The company has responded to requests for high-speed delivery, and as a result, it continues to win repeated orders. What is this open space for? This space will be used to expand our monthly production capacity to 2,000 units. Yaskawa Electric is ready to expand the capacity at any moment. Looking for further increase in demand, the company is now constructing a new factory in an adjacent area. This is an upfront investment to win in China.
And today we have President Ogasawara of Yaskawa Electric. Let's move on to the second topic. That is, does China's economic recovery slow down? China's April to June GDP rose 7.9%. However, there is a concern that it will slow down in the second half. Do you see the future? How do you see the future development? Yes, there is a risk of deceleration all the time. But if you take the overall economy, there is a continuity of growth, and there are changes in the market. When there are changes out in the market, there's going to be a bounce back all the time. Until several years ago, in the Chinese market, there was a lot of hype on EVs, but Chinese consumers were really concerned about those EVs because of a shortage of cruise distance, and any driver has to be worried about charging all the time. But looking back at the past 2 years, the charging stations number has increased, the battery replacement services are being offered, So compared to Japan, probably the number of charging stations is 100 times higher. And about 50% of EVs on the roads around the world run on the streets of China. So looking at the current speed, there's going to be a continuity of growth. The batteries are robust, and the same thing can be said about the semiconductors and 5G. About those base stations, the first thing they do is to build up of infrastructure, quite aggressive, about 50 times higher when it comes to the base stations compared to Japan. And 70% of the global base stations are being installed in China. That means once infrastructure is in place, and that will drive the demand further. So demand is robust. And so if that is going to be the situation, I wonder if there is any sign of deceleration. What will that be? When it comes into such signs, we are working in the FA industry, manufacturing industry. When it comes to servo motors and robots, their business is almost a cash-only business. So the first sign is a late payment or late delivery. So under these circumstances, we are forced to prepare ourselves so that the production volume is going to decline. But we can't tell only with the financial data. We can get the information on the ground, but everything is okay out in the market. Yes, they are paying on time. So you have the inventory of 1,500 units, and you're also talking about capacity expansion. So that means you're worried about missing business opportunities rather than excess capacity and inventory. Well, when it comes to excess capacity, that may be an issue, but at the same time, I have to respond to any changes of the manufacturing in China. We have the 3-work shift system, so we still have room by 1.5 times currently compared to the current situation. So we need to catch up with the demand, otherwise we're going to lag behind. The competitors are going to seize the opportunity. We are not going to catch up. Therefore, I think the line space has to be secured in the first place. For example, the capacity expansion with the 2,000 units. Once there is line space, we can catch up. So at least we need to meet the demand. Fighting in the Chinese market, and I think the speed is completely different from that in the Japanese business. That is true. Their speed in quitting and starting is completely different. You wouldn't know if you don't try. That's their motto. So before you think about many things, do it before you think, and quit it if it won't work. That's their approach. So the speed for starting the business is completely different. So give it a try is their mantra. What about any sense of a threat by Chinese players? And I think overtaking by Chinese manufacturers, and I think it's the same in the Chinese market as well, similar to Europe. If you look down on them, like you may fear of being overtaken by the Chinese players, that is going to lead you to a failure. So you have to do the appropriate comparison and analysis of the competitors, and you have to take a give and take approach. If you're going to think about you are ahead of others, you will be overtaken easily. The world has changed. What differentiates your products from Chinese competitors? First and foremost, I have to mention those Chinese employers. They also export their products, but they don't have the established global service network. And within the Chinese market as well, those Chinese employers compete against the local players. But that said, I think a sense of trust is extremely important. We supply our products to our customers, and they all have a sense of trust on us. Next, the third topic. This is it. Yaskawa's aggressive, ambitious technology strategy. Please take a look at this. It's about a new technology strategy.
In April, Yaskawa Electric's new technology center opened. It's the company's 15 billion yen strategic investment. Almost everyone you find in the spacious open floor is engineer. By fall, around 600 people will move into this space, and this will become the largest technology center for Yaskawa Electric. The new technology center will bring engineers from different business units in one place to facilitate research and development of new technologies. The company now has what it takes to develop new products that customers are looking for and make prototypes quickly at headquarters. The objective is to reduce time to market.
What is the objective of the Yaskawa Technology Center, where all the engineers come together and work together? What is the reason and the objective? When it comes to technology, servo motors, inverters, and robotic technologies, now they were all distributed and separated. As I mentioned with regard to China, there's a momentum on IT promotion, so things need to be centralized in our view. Therefore, instead of separated R&D, which we need, the concentration of those talents with the data connection as well, for the purpose of increased competitiveness. We have to assemble them. We need to concentrate the human resources and linked with the production system. With this objective, we are going to put it as to function as the global command center. We are all linked with different locations, and that allows this center to work as the command center. Innovation is triggered by the concentration of human resources. The center attracts engineers to work. Right. So it's all about manufacturing. We have to get together and talk and produce our products. For that to be achieved, we have to touch the products and produce the products. In this kind of environment, which is open and vast, the engineers can talk to each other. And they may be motivated to come to the workplace. If it is going to be like a cubicle, then there is no difference from working from home. If you go to that place, something creative may take place. And I think that kind of element is extremely important for that to be achieved. And please take a look at this. This is a banner with the catchword we can see at the Kitakyushu airport. It says, from Kitakyushu, driving the world to a better future. What does this catchword of Yaskawa represent? Would you please elaborate on this? In fact, I didn't coin this word or catchword. In 2015, we celebrate the centennial. So for the past 100 years, we took root in Kurosaki, Kitakyushu. That was our birthplace. So that is the birthplace of our company. So looking into the next centennial, how we would be able to continue the growth? For that to be achieved, the driving force should lie in that birthplace. But at the same time, currently 70% of our sales come from the world, and that means we have to continue to drive the world to be more deeply rooted in Kitakyushu. So you were talking about the next 100 years. EV has a lot of business opportunity, in particular, EV battery opportunity. So I wonder if you were ready to step into EV motor business. Speaking of EV motor business, as far as our company is concerned, technologically speaking, we closely monitor the situation. To a certain extent, we get involved. But if we are going to fully step into this battery business or not, we do not have that kind of a strategy. To a certain extent, yes. But there may be a large business opportunity, but that is supposed to be the core of OEMs. We have to leave it to OEMs. That is our idea. So first, battery opportunities. Well, battery manufacturing opportunity first. That's my view. Thank you very much. We had Mr. Ogasawara, president of Yaskawa Electric, as our guest today at the studio. Once again, thank you really very much for coming early in the morning. Thank you. That is the end of the program.
最後まで見ていただきましてありがとうございます。テレビ東京の経済ニュース、経済番組をもっと見たいという方はこちらの画像をクリックしまして動画配信サービステレ東ビズにアクセスしてください。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。